What's up, everybody? It is your brother, Jerry Flowers of Redefined TV, and today this particular webisode is a necessary webisode. I want to talk from this topic for a few moments. What is this relationship doing to me? There is no such thing as a neutral relationship. And before I give you the categories that I believe every relationship falls into, I want you to understand this. Whenever you enter into a relationship, you are having a collision course with their mind. You get that person's mind. It doesn't matter how fine you think he is, how beautiful you think she is. What you are getting is their mind, not just their abs, not just their body, not just their presence, not just their personality. You are getting the way that they process thought. The text tells us, as a man thinketh, so is he. So before you say I do and opening up your legs to people and doing other unkingdom-like things, you really have to ask yourself, have I watched this person enough to see how they think? If so, then I would ask this question: have I seen how they think under pressure, compromise, and when they don't get their way? All of those things are going to greatly affect the chemistry of your relationships. So I believe all relationships fall in one of these categories. It's a relationship that's either distracting me, deceiving me, paralyzing me, poisoning me, evolving me, or divine for me. First thing I want you to know, a distraction is not when you can't focus. A distraction is a mismanagement of your focus. So you're focused, but you're just focused on the wrong thing. I begin to dissect and reduce this word distraction down to the lowest common denominator, and I even was researching it in Hebrew. In Hebrew, distraction means to be pulled in several directions. This is a relationship that's pulling you all over the place, pulling your mind, pulling your standards, pulling your time, pulling your emotions, pulling your sensitivity. It's a distraction because it takes your eyes off what you should be focused on in this season. And a lot of times people don't know they're distracted until after they've been distracted because they don't have a focus for a season. What are you focused on in this season? You must have a focus because that's going to be your target for this season. This will make it easier for you to identify a distraction versus a compliment. Any person, opportunity, or thing that takes your focus off that target, off that goal, we can label as a distraction. Entertaining the wrong one will always be more painful than the fear of never being discovered by the one. It is better for you to be single in a cold bed than for you to keep warm by a real devil. And there are a lot of people who are tolerating a devil just for a status and an image. They present to the world as though they're happy, but behind the scenes they're going through hell. Secondly, we have a deceiving relationship. And I believe there are three ways on how we're primarily deceived by people. Number one, we lack a prayer life. Number two, anxiety. Number three, we just don't give it time. Prayer is likened unto an MRI. When we pray on things, it's almost like God does an MRI on the opportunity or on this person. This is why sometimes you just feel something. You just feel this, That's usually the spirit cautioning you that this is not me. And how we get deceived is when we get anxious and we don't allow time, because time is your friend. Time reveals people's true colors. You just have to give it time. Be willing to see them in every season. Winter, fall, summer, spring. This is the season of loss. When things aren't going their way, how do they act then? How are they in the season of summer? When it seems everything is working, when everything is good, is it still all about them? Are they arrogant? Do they think they did this? Do they accredit it to the degrees themselves? What are they like in spring? This is when y'all first meet and y'all have butterflies in your stomach and you're starting to learn them and things are starting to bloom. And how are they in autumn? When things just start to fall off. Things aren't working out. You don't know why. If you have not seen how they handle loss, pressure, or anger, you do not know them. Anxiety positions for us to entertain counterfeits. It causes for us to view this season as a prison versus a passport. So any opportunity or any person that comes along, you view as a bail bond. I just want to get out of this. God will always, all caps, always show you the red flags. Like there's somebody probably watching this right now and you've seen so many red flags in this relationship, but that anxiety is making you stay. And you're not the only one. There are a lot of people who are in relationships that are over but never ended. If an individual is running from their issues, what makes you think that they'll be mature enough to handle our relationship issues. They're not even dealing with their personal issues. So they're definitely not going to deal with our collective issues. Third type of relationship is a paralyzing relationship. A lot of people choose familiar misery rather than foreign joy. And believe it or not, you know what the most difficult relationship is? One of the most difficult relationships is the healthy relationship after the toxic relationship, because you have learned how to function in dysfunction. So much so to that when you see functional, you call that dysfunctional. And these are paralyzing relationships. These could be people that you're cool with. These could be people that you're compatible with. It's not all about compatibility, but suitability, because you could be compatible with a demon. Paralyzing relationships are relationships that put a capsule on your potential. And many people don't know that they're in these type of relationships because these are usually comfort zone relationships. These are people you cool with, you get along great with, but you're not growing. And it's dangerous to be around people who like you but don't grow you. Then we have poisoning relationships. These could be verbally abusive relationships, physically abusing relationships, molestation, rape. Any type of relationship that has been traumatic is usually the number one sign that this is a poisoning relationship. But what if I told you a poisoning relationship could also be that relationship that's good to you but not for you? Like, they provide you with orgasms and they provide you with company, but it comes at the expense of removing God's favor, because God will never bless what disconnects you from Him. And these are the type of relationships many times that we don't know are poisonous because it's so good to us. It makes us feel so good. It gives us a false sense of happiness. You're happy for the moment, but still deep down on the inside, and you know who you are. I've been there. You know who you are watching this webisode. You don't have organic peace. You're smiling, but there's something missing. You really can't put your finger on it, but there's something missing, and that is the peace in the presence of God. And sin is the most deadliest poison to our souls. And these type of relationships usually give us a lot of pleasure, but they're not purposeful for our assignment. And I know we don't want to let it go, but what if I told you that this relationship is only compatible to the former version of yourself? And you're evolving and you hear God calling you higher, you hear Him calling you higher and deeper on the regular. But the reason that you're still in this is because you have fallen in love with the poison. Many of us have fallen in love with poison and are calling it an acquired taste, which is why some people go back to trauma. I can't move on because I didn't get closure. I just want to know, like, what happened. And I want you to really be honest with yourself. Are you really seeking closure, or are you seeking for an excuse to talk to them again? But God has so much more for you, but you'll never know the foreign peace if you don't let go of the familiar place. This has to become your life's hashtag. It wasn't for me, so I let it go. And the last two, evolving relationships and divine relationships. I know a lot of times we think they could be synonymous, but they're not, because some relationships can help you evolve for a season. This is why the 5th grade chair and the pre-K chair aren't the same size, because as you continue to evolve, there's some places that you should no longer sit. This is why a 5-year-old shoe and a 2-month-old shoe is not the same size, because you should no longer be able to fit in certain places after you embrace a season of evolving and growing. And some relationships come in your life to help you evolve. And if you don't have somebody in your life that you can say, you know what, they helped me grow, they helped me evolve, by default, you'll always land in a deceiving, distracting, paralyzing, and poisoning relationship. Divine relationships don't always have to be romantic. This is a relationship ordained by heaven that you have to have. This could be a person that introduces you to another person that helps you get into position for your assignment. This could be a spouse. This could be a boss. It's somebody that God is going to use to get you to where you need to be. They don't always come in the form that you expect. For those who know the story, God told Abraham He's going to give him a son. Abraham, like many of us, thought God was taking too long, so he created his own Ishmael. The beauty of this is our Ishmael mistake doesn't disqualify us from our Isaac promise. Anyway, later down the line, Joseph came along. Brothers were jealous of him. They threw him in the pit, took him out of the pit, and sold him to the Ishmaelites. Who are the Ishmaelites? That was Abraham's lack of waiting mistake, right? The Ishmaelites became a transportational system to get Joseph over in Egypt. So God still used that. It was a divine relationship for Joseph to have to get him into position. Divine relationships are not always romantic, but they are transportational. They get you to a destination. Feast on it. I know it was a lot, but I pray it helps you. Redefine TV, where redefining relationships righteously.